What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Tomahawk Talk podcast. We have a very special guest today. We have Lindsay Crosby on today. He's going to answer a couple questions for us, talk a little ball with us. Lindsay is an award-winning baseball writer and podcaster who got his start covering Auburn for Sports Illustrated and MLB prospects for the Locked On Podcast Network before starting his own independent newsletter and podcast, Braves Today. We hope you enjoy it. And without further ado, here is Lindsay. All right, we're here with Lindsay Crosby. First question.
Okay.
What is going on this offseason? There has been pretty much nothing said. It's been silence. What is going on?
I mean, that's Alex Anthopoulos every winter, right? Like, he does not like to talk about what he's doing. We don't get rumors or leaks out of this front office. But the way that I kind of look at what they've done this winter is Atlanta's built themselves flexibility where they're not backed into a corner for anything, right? So, like, you publicly said you did not believe Nick Allen could be your starting shortstop, right? You went out and grabbed a guy and plugged him in the rotation in Ha-Sung Kim. You came out and said you had to be better at shortstop, right? You got Mauricio Dubon. You came out and publicly said you're comfortable if he's your starter, which means you're not backed into a corner to pay for a Ha-Sung Kim or to pay for a Bo Bichette. Just on Sunday night, Anthopoulos talked about the rotation, about how they've gotten great health news on everybody. Grant Holmes, it's a fully standard offseason. I know you guys are happy about that. Ronaldo Lopez is healthy. Spencer Schwellenbach is healthy. Like, it's a full, normal offseason. So they can look for an impact starter, but they're not forced to pay above market or free agent prices to get an impact starter. And I think that's real. It's frustrating as a fan, right? But I think that's the story of the offseason is they don't have to do anything. They have the flexibility to do a good deal, but they're not forced to overpay for somebody just because they have to fill a hole. Now, whether or not I agree with that is something we're going to get into, but I think that's their perspective on the offseason so far.
Yeah. Give me Chris Bassett. I have wanted Chris Bassett. I don't think they need a number one, a number two. I think that'd be nice, but I think Chris Bassett's just that perfect bridge. You give him 2 years, I think that fixes a lot in your rotation. And you've got Grant Holmes, who is a Swiss Army knife, can pitch in high leverage.
As he called it, right?
Yeah. Can pitch in high leverage, can pitch out of the rotation, can pitch middle innings. Same with Raylo, pretty much, too. But I think starters are probably the least of my concern, personally. I think you need to get at least one more bat, and you've got to fix the bullpen. I think the bullpen, like Alex has said, has got to be the top priority. And Bowman just recently posted this as of 10 minutes ago that AA said they can't currently count on Joe being the 8th inning option for next year. So adding a high leverage reliever feels like a definite need.
I just need some validation from you, Jeb.
Yep. So
I said
what? I'm not disagreeing, but what do you think maybe are some routes since they've declined the Pierce and declined the Kinley options?
Suarez.
It's funny, AA mentioned Suarez from the perspective of he made a spot start for us late in the year and he was really good. It feels like the Braves kind of maybe want him to see over the offseason, can he be a starter for them? But I think the route here, especially if you don't have to sign a starter, right? Like, we want them to, right? I want them to get a playoff guy. But if you don't have to sign a starter, you have more funds to go out and get one of those high stuff arms on the market. Something that I noticed with both Kinley and Johnson. Stuff Plus is pretty good for them. And we're seeing this offseason, I think I wrote about this over at Braves Today. We're seeing a lot of guys with really good stuff get signed, even if the results aren't necessarily there. But the issue with Kinley and Johnson is that's all driven by the fact that they throw 2 pitches, and one of them is really good in Kinley's slider and Johnson's curveball. And if you look at the guys that they've either brought back or they've brought in, they've claimed off waivers, all that stuff, it fits the mold of a Jeremy Hefner pitcher of I want a guy that throws multiple fastballs, he's got 4 or 5 pitches, because we're better able to use them in multiple innings if we need to. We're better able to use those in both handedness situations if we need to. I think you could reunite with Kenley or Pierce late in the offseason if they're still out there in February rolls around and you need to add somebody for cheap. But I think Atlanta wants to shoot a little higher with somebody who can take multiple innings and has more than just one trick up their sleeve to get outs. And it feels like it's a smart move, but it is an organizational shift from what they've been the last couple of years under AA, where it's find a dude who's good at throwing this one pitch and just have him spam it till it stops working.
I think that the Chris Bassett that Jeb was talking about, I think Chris Bassett is somebody who would absolutely thrive under Jeremy Hefner. I mean, him coming in, Chris Bassett throws how many pitches? Like it's an
12.
Yeah, he has a
I believe
multitude of ways.
It's 8.
Yeah. He has a multitude of ways of getting people out and multiple pitch shapes and different things that he can do. And I think I agree with you, Lindsay. You want a guy who can get you out with multiple different fastballs or multiple different breaking balls or just different things of that nature. And I don't think Chris Bassett would cost that much. I really don't. I don't think he would be break the bank. And then that would also, if you sign somebody like him, that would give you room to move a Reynaldo or Grant Holmes to the bullpen if they are willing to do that, or have somebody like a J.R. Ritchie come up and be like your long guy out of the pen if you needed him to come up early.
Bryce Elder.
No, absolutely. It gives you a multitude of different ways to construct a bullpen, and like that one plug and play guy, in Chris Bassett could really help this rotation and bullpen in unconventional ways, really.
Yeah, the question for me, I think, is going to end up coming down to one salary, right? Like, he made $22 million with Toronto. Is he willing to not want more? Because Atlanta doesn't go over $22 million, for anybody. That's it. That's the Atlanta max. And then I think there is going to be a little bit of a question about Toronto was a team that didn't have a ton of starting pitching when the playoffs got here, and yet they still used him entirely in relief this postseason. And so is signing a guy that would arguably be your 5th best starter, is signing a guy that you're not planning on using in the postseason, is that the best usage of $22 million? Or could you go get 2 relievers or a reliever and put that towards a bat? I kind of see the difficulty of you want to find a guy who can be a postseason starter, right? AA's quote on Sunday night was, I was on the call, was impact starter, which I take it to be a guy you're going to give the ball to in Game 3 of a postseason series, right? Can you find that guy under $22 million? And
no,
are you willing to pop a qualifying offer if it's required to get that guy? Cease would have been that. Michael King, Zach Gallen. Gallen could maybe be that again. You have to pop a qualifying offer for those guys. Is there anybody who's not in that category that
Freddie
you're
Peralta?
comfortable signing for multiple
signing,
years? Yeah. I mean, like, trade options. Yeah, Pablo
Yeah.
Lopez is there. Joe Ryan's that guy. Freddie
Yeah.
Peralta's that guy. But on the free agent market, is there a guy you're willing to do that for? And I don't know. I don't know if there is in the free agent market other than like Tatsuya Imai, and that's a whole nother conversation of it's a dude who's 5'11" and 160, coming over to the States for the first time. It's how much does that stuff translate immediately? So I kind of think it's a weird place to be if you're not willing to extend the payroll past $22 million, like which they haven't been.
Well, I have some breaking news, and
Okay.
this is just insane. According to Ken Rosenthal on Twitter, the Pittsburgh Pirates made an offer to Kyle Schwarber. It's a joke.
Well, like the Reds are talking about it. The Reds are genuinely
know.
trying to sign him, and the
But
Pirates,
the Reds are not notoriously cheap, though. Like,
Yeah.
the Reds are cheap, but at least, the Reds would shell out some dollars if necessary. This is a joke of a post from Ken Rosenthal, in my opinion. He said the Pirates made an offer to Kyle Schwarber.
See, this is funny.
What's funny,
I went
before
straight.
I hopped on with you guys, I made an offer to Sydney Sweeney before I hopped on.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy.
I made an
Hey,
offer.
you heard it here first. You heard it here first.
My wife was on board, too.
You say that, it's funny. I jumped directly to Jeff Passan's page because that's what I thought you said, and you said Ken Rosenthal. I don't trust anybody but Passan.
Passan and Murray. That's it.
Yeah.
Murray earned a good bit of respect last offseason, but everybody else, no.
Brother,
Nailed everything.
it just I'll believe it whenever anything becomes official. Like the whole post yesterday about Alex Breg or no, it wasn't Alex Bregman.
And a Gallon in the Cubs.
Zach Gallen to the
Zach
Cubs.
Gallen to the Cubs on a multi-year deal by when just baseball.
But and what was it? I think 9 minutes later, Passan's been like, he's not close to signing the deal.
No.
Bob's the president of the Baseball Writers Association of America. I don't think people realize that. Like,
No.
not only is he a professional
No.
journalist, he's the president of the BBWAA.
MLB just shoots their fucking selves in the foot, don't they? God, Jesus. Boo?
That has nothing
He's
to
the
do with MLB, I don't
president.
think.
That's
It doesn't.
crazy.
I mean, well, it's that's technically like MLB doesn't decide who the president is, right? But like
Right.
he runs the organization and he's getting publicly refuted by other members when he reports something and he's saying, you know, guys like Arson Judge are signing with the Giants and
Or Ron Washington is becoming the infield coach of the athletics.
and then had to change to the Giants. Had to update the tweet, which meant that my tweet looked like I was an idiot. 'Cause I referenced the Athletics tweet, and I had to go back and say, nope, he edited his tweet. It's the Giants.
That would be
Unbelievable.
that would be like putting me as the scouting director for the Braves.
I don't know, man. He hit the ball pretty hard, and then you actually record an exit velo, and it's like 78 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That's what Jeb would do.
Oh,
That
gosh.
was. I'm sorry, we got off track, but that
No,
was
it's
just
fine.
funny to me. Ken Rosenthal talking about the Pirates just making an offer, and tweeting it out like, "Oh my god."
Well, didn't they make an offer to Naylor too, and it was like nothing to shake a stick at what he got with Seattle too.
They apparently, if I read this right, they didn't actually give a dollar figure, but like they were in discussions trying to find out can they sign him and all of that stuff. So yeah, it's add him to the We Tried tracker. It's my favorite thing in the offseason. It's like, here's the guys we tried to sign. And
We're
credit
in
to
on
Alex
them.
Anthopoulos. We don't hear a lot about the Braves trying and failing to sign guys from him. And I do think that in some way it's a bit of a detriment because people get frustrated when they think the Braves don't do anything, when in reality, like, we have reporting Jeff Hoffman, we have reporting Justin Verlander, we have reporting Trevor Scott last offseason, and none of those happened. And in retrospect, probably a good thing none of those happened.
Yeah.
But, like, AA doesn't come out and say it or talk about it. We just find out 3 months later, 2 months later, whatever. I part of me wonders, would Braves fans be a little more understanding? The bad portion, the bad minority of Braves fans, would they be a little more understanding if we got reporting, you know, really quickly? It's like, yeah, Braves made an offer to Schwarber, but they were outbid by Philly or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would
but
be
I mean, does that
understanding.
ease the pain? Does that ease the pain for Blue Jays fans at all? Because I mean, they get that exact news every single offseason about, you know, they were like literally last year. Oh, Shohei's on a plane to Toronto, and it's like we got
That was
outbid.
terrible,
by-
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like,
But I'll ask, which is worse? Knowing that your team might sign Ohtani, and he visited and he toured, and then you ended up not getting him, or knowing as soon as free agency started, like, I know there's no shot Kyle Tucker's a Brave. Like,
unpopular opinion, I prefer just knowing for a fact off the bat that we have no shot of getting him.
Yep.
Oh, 100%.
I don't want to get my hopes up, right?
Yeah, I don't want to get my hopes up. Going back to something that you said, you know, and it is pretty common knowledge that the Braves don't go over about 22 million. At what point do you think that changes? Because market values change. The way that players are viewed and compensated changes, and it's already changing. I mean, Dylan Cease just got $26 million a year because his quote unquote stuff plus is higher than average.
Right.
Yet, year in and year out, other than maybe 1 or 2 years,
1 year.
1 year, Dylan Cease has been an elite pitcher. But he's getting paid for what the analytics and stuff say. I guess my question...
He's getting paid for the inputs, not the results. Like, he's getting
Yes.
paid for the strikeout to walk ratio, getting paid for the whiffs and all of that, and not for the ERA that comes out of that. Yeah.
Right. And when the name of the game is scoring more runs than the other team, if you're getting paid like that, $26.5 million per year as a starter who doesn't do the best at preventing these runs, at what point do the Braves change their model and go above that $22 million to get a player who actually will produce results?
I do think it's important to point out, and I know that's not the same thing, but we do have reporting that Atlanta has offered contracts above that $22 million, right? I believe the final offer to Freddie was $140 over 5, which is $28 million a year.
Yeah.
Reportedly, and AA kind of publicly pushed back on us a little bit when we talked about this, but reportedly, Atlanta's final offer to Aaron Nola was more than what he got from Philly. It was just a shorter deal, and that was the same issue with Freddie as well. I think the big thing, Atlanta needs to evolve somewhere. The two main observations in all of their deals, free agent extension, whatever, is Atlanta's very averse, one, going over $22 million. The only deal I can think of that AA has signed in Atlanta over that was the 1 year $23 million for Josh Donaldson in 2019. They've been very averse to going over that, and they've been very averse at paying for the decline years. Like, if you look at the extensions you have right now, if you look at some of the free agent deals, a lot of these things run out 30, 32, maybe 33, and Atlanta's not giving the commitments required to get some of these guys, like to keep Dansby, right? To get your, not that I want them to, but like your Trey Turners and things like that, because those deals are taking these guys into 38, 39, 40 years old. I feel like something needs to change, and I think the first thing that's going to change is that $22 million limit, simply because we've seen them offer more. Like, we have confirmed reporting, they were going to pay Freddie $28 million a year. Had he taken that deal, he just wanted the 6th year that LA gave him. I feel like that's what's going to change. The question is when. I don't know if there's anybody in this free agent market, outside of maybe Dylan Cease, that it would have made sense to pay more than $22 million for, right? Like, Ranger Suarez, I'd struggle with a long-term deal for a guy who's throwing barely 90 miles an hour, right? Kyle Tucker is going to be paid till he's 40. Like, I don't care how much you're paying him. Paying anybody till they're 40 is a bad idea in baseball. Like, it's just, I'm hopeful that it's soon. I don't think this is the year for it, simply because I don't know if there's anybody left on the market that's worth $25 million when you consider the fact that they would be the only person making that amount on the entire roster, and that means it's a different type of sell to the clubhouse, right? Like, everybody, when they traded for Chris Sale's original deal was for more than $22 million, and when they extended him, it lowered everything to $22 million and no more. It's hard to bring in a contract bigger than that unless you can point to it being a leader and that being the final piece you need to be World Series favorites. And I just don't think there's anybody out there that does that for you.
So you're saying that Bo Bichette and Corey Seager, for those who want those guys, those are both off the table at this point because both of them are going to demand more than $22 million.
Well, the Rangers have kind of said that Corey Seager's probably not getting moved at this point, right? Having already cut some payroll.
Sorry, Ryan.
That's
yeah. That's just one of those things. Yeah, no. Bo Bichette, you could make an argument about you get him to be a shortstop and you plan on shifting him to second base pretty quickly when you can get an Alex Lodis or somebody up, because Ozzy's going to be done soon. you could make an argument for something like that. I think the length of the commitment, though, is the thing that would keep Atlanta. Like, I think Atlanta would pay Bo Bichette more than $22 million. I don't think they want to sign him for 7 years, right? Like, I think if you had the option to pay Bo Bichette $27 million a year on a 3-year deal, is Atlanta probably do something like that? I think they would. I think in his case, all of the guys who are worth paying more than $22 million a year are the same type of guys that want to get signed for 5, 6, 7 years into their late 30s, and that's not AA's bag, right? Like that's the problem you have is his two kind of rules really mean he's stuck in a box because a guy who is worth more than $22 million also wants to be signed long term, and Atlanta doesn't want to go that far, right? So, like if Dansby would have taken $22 million or $25 million for 3 or 4 years, the Braves probably would have done it. Mm-hmm. But he wanted both the length and he wanted the money, and they weren't going to do both. Freddie, they were going to do the money, but not the length. It's just they'll bend on one thing, and the one thing they'll bend on is the money for the right player. And the problem is the guys who are worth more than that want longer.
Why do you think that the option is always go up on money but shorter length? Why not lower money, extend length a little bit on contracts? Because it seems like a lot of these guys, like Freddie, Dansby was going to be gone regardless. I think his wife plays soccer in Chicago, so feel like he was gone either way. But it keeps coming up that the years are not long enough on these contracts. So why not try to lower salary just a little bit, but extend the length? Maybe go $22 million for 7 years instead of $28 million for 4 years. You know, just that sort of thing.
I think part of it is baseball. I think baseball's economic situation works against them, right? Like in the NFL, you'll see guys take a short-term, high-dollar deal because they'll get another shot at the apple. It feels like in baseball, you really get one free agent contract. Like some guys will go to free agency multiple times and get paid well, but a lot of guys, you spent 6 years under team control after having been a minor leaguer for however long, and when you finally get to free agency, you want to lock in that economic security for as long as you can. And I feel like this is where baseball works against itself. If you got to free agency, let's say you went to arbitration for year 3, and you went to free agency after year 4, and a guy could know that, like, hey, I'm going to get 2 shots at the free agent apple. I feel like you'd see more guys be willing to take the shorter, high-dollar deals, knowing that, hey, I can go back to free agency and get another deal that'll take me to the end of my career. I can take a little bit less money and a longer deal, and I'm still 30 when I sign that second deal. I just think the way it is in baseball now, you really get one shot at free agency, and that's it. And so because of it, guys want to get paid. They want to lock in as long of money as they can, and you never know when you're going to lose a season to a lockout or a CBA negotiation that goes badly. Guys just want the security, and that's where baseball works against themselves. The NFL, everybody's on a level playing field economically, and the structure's different with the national revenue and everything. But guys are willing to take those short-term deals because they're confident that they can keep getting contracts and keep getting paid. Baseball, you get one shot, and that's just it's unfortunate, really, that the game's set up this way. I've talked to players who have come out and said that, like, you get one shot at free agency. That's why at the end of the day, money ends up winning.
Which and yet I can understand that for sure. But then you also have guys like Juan Soto, who realistically could have had their multiple shots at free agency if he had wanted to, yet chose a 15-year, $765 million deal.
I mean, in his case, he got both, right? Like he got
he got both. He got paid
year.
and the
but
longevity.
Like even the best players in baseball that we make every team better. They're taking the long deal over the short deals unless they don't have the option of the long deal. Like look at the big 4 guys from Boris. Was it the 23 offseason or the 24 offseason? Where like the big 4, the Bregman and Alonso and all those guys, they all signed short-term deals. Chapman already signed an extension. Snell went back to free agency. He signed long-term. Like, guys are taking short-term deals when they have to, but it feels like baseball's so wrapped up in the aging curve and your decline years that guys are taking the long-term deal because they're worried about, like, their calculation is, I'll make more money overall than I will taking a big short-term deal now and then trying to get paid as a 34-year-old first baseman who's bad defensively, which Pete's learning because he's not 34 and he's terrible defensively. He can't find a long-term deal just like he couldn't find a long-term deal last year.
Whoa, now, according to Mets fans, all right, he's the best scooper in baseball, and he plays the best first base of anybody. All right.
Conveniently, the one thing that we can't really measure defensively is the thing that he's elite at. That's how this works. Yeah. We can measure anything else on a baseball field. I've never seen anybody measuring the ability to scoop at first base. So clearly, he's the best at that. That makes sense to me.
They just said he had the most scoops, which in my head tells me that his other three infielders need to learn how to throw the fucking ball to first base instead of making him go down and scoop the ball every time.
All that says is your defense is cheeks, pal. That's all it says.
Kind of staying on the change thing that we've been talking about, what was your take on the new manager and coaching staff hires? I know it's a little bit old news now, but...
So I was really... When the hire happened, I was really like, come on, really? We're just sticking with Walt Weiss? I loved the group of... You had Danny Lehman, you had George Lombard. I wanted Lombard, right?
I was a Lehman guy.
But yeah, which is fine. You like long hair, I get it. But when I listened to the press conference, the Walt Weiss press conference, and then I listened to him go on 680 The Fan and talk with, I believe it was Celine and Domino after that, and then I saw the coaching staff that they hired. I really like the fact that they blended keeping somebody and keeping some bit of understanding the Braves and the culture that we have here with bringing in fresh blood with a new way of looking at things and a new way of doing things. So, like, a lot of your coaches are young. A lot of your coaches are data guys. Jeremy Hefner, the first jersey I buy with the new City Connect design, whenever it comes out for next year or the next couple of years, is probably going to be a Jeremy Hefner jersey just because I love the ideas that Jeremy Hefner has. That's a joke. But like... I like the idea of Walt Weiss has some experience. He knows what he did wrong. He's got great relationships with the clubhouse. Him and Ronald are apparently very close, which I did not realize until I started covering the team. And he brought in a lot of young coaches that have a new way of doing things and should be able to improve on some of the deficiencies we saw from the last group. It's still a little bit of wait and see, right? Like, I still want to see what some of these guys do, but on paper, I like that they should be able to improve what the Braves have been bad at. Like Antoine Richardson, the Braves are one of the worst base running teams in baseball. Like, they barely even try to steal. He almost made Juan Soto a 40 steal guy. Like, it's...
Imagine what he's going to do with Michael Harris.
Good job of fixing. Oh, my God. Well, Michael's got to get on base first. That's the hard part. If Mike can get on base... They have the potential to tear it up, right? So I like the staff. I'm cautiously optimistic. And here's the thing. If Walt Weiss doesn't work out, nobody hired Lombard. Nobody hired Lehman. Nobody hired Flaherty. You can go back in 2 or 3 seasons and just hire one of those guys. It did not. Nobody hired those guys, but they clearly valued. Same thing they do with free agents, right? They valued the clubhouse fit here, and they valued the relationships. And then surrounded him with people who were going to bring in a newer way of looking at things. So I'm at the end of the day, I'm happy with it. I was not when it was first announced.
We were too.
No.
I was not.
You two were ready to kill Walt Weiss.
I never had anything against Walt. We were just disappointed, I guess I should say.
Listen, here's my whole thing, is if your manager's your biggest signing, you got a lot more problems in your organization.
With a lot of the reporting that we got about some of the young names we were all getting excited about, like a Lombard and Lehman and all of that. I think that was the biggest issue. Was we heard all of that talk, and Atlanta was purposefully very quiet on this. AA flat out told us in that press conference at the end of the season, like, my goal was for you guys not have anything to talk about. Like, he said almost those exact words. They were having people like they were stressing the importance of being quiet about this and the secrecy. And I think that because of that, the little bit of news we did get caused people to assume the only folks they were considering were the Lombards and the Lehmans and the Flahertys and all of that. And Walt Weiss was always an option. He was always somebody they were considering. And I feel like their secrecy maybe hurt them a little bit in this situation with the public perception. But at the same time, the hires have all been really good around him. And they have a lot of connections with each other and with players that we're interested in getting, like Byron Buxton. They signed the coach that was his best friend in Minnesota, they signed him. So, if Buxton does get traded, there's a really good chance he could force it to Atlanta if he wants to.
To piggyback off, I just real quick, sorry Ben, just to piggyback off of that, I think Walt had said that he didn't really know the coaches per se, like hadn't really spoken to him that much. Is that anything to possibly be worried about, do you think?
So we haven't had a formal media availability with Weiss since those coaches were hired. We got like a little bit of snippets in the announcements, and then like a radio interview, I think. The coaches, it's clear that like Weiss approved the coaches, but these were driven by AA. Yeah. And Alex explained it to us that this whole thing is designed to be a partnership, him and the manager working together. But it's very clear that Atlanta had an idea. Now, AA did tell us, I'm trying to remember the exact quote here. I don't have my transcript app in front of me. AA did tell us that their candidates all had lists of coaches that they were interested in and directions they wanted to go with those hires. But it's very clear this is an AA-driven coaching staff. And there's a potential there that could go bad. But at the same time, I still think that so much of the season depends on the players. Antoine Richardson's going to help you on the margins, right? He'll add 5 or 10 runs in a season. But Austin Riley being able to get back to that MVP finalist form is so much more important than any coach you hire, or any manager you hire, right? Rizal Iglesias not giving up a career high in home runs on sliders is much more important than which reliever you send out, which reliever Walt Weiss is to send out for the 7th inning. Like, that's all. At the end of the day, this is all on the margin stuff. So it's not great that he doesn't have a ton of relationships with those coaches. They've got time to build them, and really, none of it matters if Austin Riley's not hitting. So if Ronald gets hurt, none of it matters.
Sorry, Ben, you can go ahead.
That. We won the World Series the last time, like one time when Ronald got hurt. So clearly it can, you know.
But
whoa,
to be fair, he kept
now.
us in it.
Yeah.
All right,
He kept us in it.
Lindsay, don't Jeff Francoeur yourself on the
I'm
podcast.
not.
You know?
Oh no! I am not doing that. No, I'm not. Atlanta's nowhere near positioned to make that run if not for Ronald. I'm not doing that. I realized the way that came out. I apologize.
I was just gonna say
it's okay. Most of the stuff we say on here is not serious, anyways.
Oh hell yeah, good. Okay,
we don't take ourselves too serious at all. But no, I was gonna say, going off of what Ryan was saying. Yeah, you're right. You know, me and Jeb were like ready to just jump off a bridge when they hired Walt Weiss. We were ready to drive our cars straight through Truist Park. But you know, with the hires that they made with Antoine Richardson and Jeremy Hefner, it really has gotten me excited again for this team. And like a guy like Spencer Schwellenbach, for instance, with Jeremy Hefner coming in. I think that Spencer Schwellenbach could legitimately challenge for a Cy Young sooner rather than later, so based solely off of the insight and the teaching that Jeremy Hefner brings along with him, from the Mets. And then, Antoine Richardson as well. Like, if Michael can learn to not fucking swing the bat once in a while,
Ball is 55 feet. Yes, 100%.
brother, I don't care if it's 55. Just don't swing the bat. Period. Sometimes, all right. Just go up to the plate and be like, "Listen, I'm gonna take 4 straight pitches, just randomly, and chances are he'll get walked." But anyway, if a guy like Michael could get on base, he could easily steal 30 bags in a year, 30, 35. If we have Mauricio Dubon, I think he's sneaky athletic as well. He could probably steal you 15, 20. And Austin Riley, for as big, thick as he is,
That's where I was going.
He's also sneaky fast.
He's fast.
73rd percentile in baseball.
Yeah. And for a guy who has
wheels,
yeah, he's got more ass than Shrek. So it's
you have a way with
steal
words,
some bags.
man.
Yeah, he can steal some bags. All right.
Going back to Michael Harris for a second, though, I've been reading a little bit. I was talking to some hitting coaches at different levels and stuff, trying to find out, like, what do you do with a guy like Michael Harris, who just swings all the time and has always been that guy. His chase rate percentile-wise on StatCast in his 4 years, 7th percentile, 6th percentile, 3rd percentile, and 1st percentile. He's never been good at laying off of pitches outside. And one of them told me the trick with a guy like that is not to try to teach them to stop swinging outside of the zone and not tell them to just take pitches, because that puts them into bad counts. Be aggressive on their pitches. Teach them to recognize their pitch that they're good at hitting, and teach them to always hit that pitch. And I keep thinking about StatCast has a run value thing where they break it down by where in the zone the pitch is, and the difference, not the full difference, but a significant difference in Michael's production dropping off off a cliff last year, is for the first time in his career, he was negative at pitches in the heart of the plate. So, he chased a lot. He was terrible at that. He's always been terrible at that. But he also didn't hit the strikes down the middle that he's always crushed. Yep. And at the end of the day, can you make his chase rate a little bit better? Sure. You're never going to get him to a 50th, 60th percentile chase rate. It's not going to happen. But if you can get his production from being negative at his pitches back to being positive at his pitches, that will help a lot. Because not every pitcher is going to throw him every pitch out of the zone. Yes, a lot of pitches he sees are out of the zone because he's gotten bad at it. But even last year, he still saw half his pitches in the strike zone. He just he just wasn't swinging enough at the pitches in the heart of the plate. And when he was swinging, he wasn't making good enough contact at those because he was trying to take more pitches. The way to fix Michael Harris is get him to just crush meatballs is what you have to do.
It felt like there was a legitimate 3 week to a month span where no matter what happened, Michael Harris was sitting there watching a pitch right down the.
We lost Ben.
Ben's shitty Wi-Fi back at it again. Ryan, what were you saying? I know you're kind of our hitting guru around here.
First off, I just want to say, who was saying
you called it?
Thank you. All right. Secondly, I did a breakdown on Michael towards when he started really getting hot again. I think it was September I finally posted it. But Michael's big thing is he couldn't see the ball. His head was moving so much in his swing, he could not see the ball. So when people were like, how is he chasing a 55-foot breaking ball? It's just because he literally couldn't read the pitch because his head was moving 3 or 4 inches towards the pitcher. Every inch you're adding 3 miles an hour, so 97 is 110.
No thanks.
And then then you're like, oh my God, I'm late on 97. I got to speed up. And then here comes the breaking ball into the dirt. And then you're swinging over that. That was his biggest thing. Once he fixed that, that's when you saw Michael go on a fucking heater in the second half.
It was August was his best month, right?
Yeah. That's when he tore it.
August is the month where he had the best production at pitches and attacks in the heart of the plate. He had an expected batting average of 437, an expected slug of 777. It was the only month where his batting average on pitches in the middle of the plate was like over 350.
Yep. You can see again.
There you
But
go.
he's always going to be that uber
Yeah.
aggressive dude, and and
Yeah.
I kind of don't want to take that away from him. You almost got to like rein it in and teach him a better game plan. Like, hey man, like this is where you do your fucking damage at. This is what you need to look for early on in the count. Then when you get to 2 strikes, you got to do what you got to do, but like tone the aggressiveness down and put it towards something that you want to hit and that you know you can crush. If you do that, Michael will go and be a potential MVP candidate. That's the one adjustment he's got to make.
Yeah, raising his hands helped him see better by keeping everything else still,
Yes.
which let him get back to keying on his pitches on time, and then recognizing and being a tiny little bit better on pitches outside of the zone. But again, that's never going to be great. With
No,
him.
it's not.
Yeah.
I've said it for over a year now. I think that if Michael could somehow raise his walk percentage to just 5.5%, all right, the Major League Baseball average is 8.2. So if he could go to 5.5%, he would be a superstar. I mean, he would legitimately be a superstar in this league. He's got to learn how to recognize his pitch and.
Let me see what he's at for his career. 4.8, 4.6,
Oh.
4.9, 2.5 in his 4 seasons. I mean, even getting to 5%, I think, would be a big deal.
Yeah.
Man, I really wish Ronald would take him and just be like, "Yo, bro, we gotta fix your approach." At the
I want to know what Ronald did to just cut his strikeout rate in half for 1 season, and then it went back to where it had always been. Like, are the hacking pitch-com stuff, like, was that real? I
The
mean,
2014 made you think so, and this team definitely didn't help it by
because like
any means.
11.4% in 2023, his career low before that was 23.6%, and he went down to an 11.4% strikeout rate the next year, and then right back to upper 23s. It's like the weirdest 1-year blip I have ever seen.
What was it
any
this year
dude
for
do.
him?
He cut it more than half,
Yeah, he made some adjustments.
and then it went right back.
I thought this year he was a little bit higher. He was like 26.1 or something this year. I don't know why I thought it was.
He finished at 24.8. The
Okay.
walk rate was super high though, 17.2.
Yeah.
So I think that some of that, if you're thinking about it from an at bat perspective versus a plate appearance perspective, that could be where the disconnect is. Because from an at bat perspective, he struck out more, but from a plate appearance perspective, he didn't because of the walk rate being so high. He still got 400 at bats this year.
He's so fucking fun to watch.
He
Look,
is.
You
He
know,
is so
we were
awesome.
talking about when they need to go over the 22 million. It's for this dude right here. It's for that
I've,
dude
like,
right there.
My question is going to be: is there a middle ground between what he wants and they're comfortable with? Because you could absolutely see, even if he doesn't win an MVP again, if Ronald has a fully healthy season, like what he was doing last year, where he had a
Yes.
935 OPS,
Yes.
he was on pace for almost 40 home runs. And if he steals 30 bags, hits 40 home runs with the 290 and all that, he's gonna want $40 million. And like, will Atlanta go to 40 million? No. But is there a middle ground where they would go that he would accept? Right? Like with Freddie, they were gonna go to 28, and Freddie said no, he wanted that extra year. With Ronald, would they go to 30? Would he take 30?
I would say 8 years, 220, 8 and 220 to 240. I mean, I think that would be. I don't know. I'm terrible with math, but I think that'd be pretty solid AAV right
That's
there.
27 and a
He would
half.
do what?
240 is 30 a year.
Yeah. Okay.
I would,
So yeah, that's
Like,
about what
does
I
he
wanted.
take that though?
I mean, if he really truly wants to be a Brave for the rest of his career, I would think so. I mean, 8 years at 240, 30 a year, I
Yeah,
really
like-
do think that he'd be okay with that.
Like that's got to be, and like Chipper's talked about this. Like if you want to be a Brave, you would be a Brave.
Yes.
And this
Yeah.
is the whole thing with Freddie. If you want to be in Atlanta, you'll be in Atlanta. The question's going to be, like, the question with Dansby was the difference between what somebody else was willing to pay him and what Atlanta was going to pay him was just too much to ignore, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 22 here, they were offering like 28 on a longer deal. Like there was no middle ground there. Is the middle ground Atlanta finds for Ronald enough for him? I'm one of those people that, like, when you get that high, $100 million is a lot of money, but when it's between 300 and 400 million, if you want to be in Atlanta, you'll be in Atlanta,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Maybe you can get the team to add 2 more years onto that. Maybe that's where they kick in deferrals and they actually
Yep.
do some deferred money.
I was just going to mention that. I don't know why for him they wouldn't do it. And correct me if I'm wrong, but a signing bonus also doesn't count towards the CBT. Am I correct?
A signing bonus is prorated over the years of the contract. So if it's a 10-year deal with a $10 million bonus, there's an additional $1 million each year. But the cash comes out of the payroll when you sign it. So if you sign him in season, it's that year's cash that is the signing bonus. And the other part where that matters is the signing bonus gets taxed where you live and not where you play. That's why so many Dodgers guys take signing bonuses in the offseason. They're not paying California taxes on that signing bonus.
See, I wonder, but I mean, I'm assuming Ronald has a house in Georgia. I'm
He lives in
wondering
Atlanta.
if that would be an option too, a signing bonus like that.
The signing bonus feels to me, I kind of wish Atlanta had done this a little bit late in the year. Like if they had gone ahead and signed Ha-Seong Kim for the season ended, use some of that season's cash and payroll to pay a signing bonus. Atlanta, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe has state income tax, right? So like it's not a huge deal
Georgia has state income
to
tax.
do.
Yeah, we got state.
Oh, it does?
income
Okay,
tax,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember from when I lived in Georgia. But like I don't think it's that pricey. I don't think the signing bonus makes a big difference for the Braves or for Ronald other than the fact of, hey, you get money up front and we can allocate it towards a specific season on the payroll. I think that's kind of where it helps the Braves. But you could also just set up the contract to escalate once other guys are off the team and their deals are over. You just reallocate their money over there. It's like what they did. Ozuna's contract is up and you freed up $16 million, but Spencer Strider's contract increased, and so he in essence got that $16 million. They just reallocated it from Ozuna to Spencer Strider. Same idea.
Yep. Which a lot of people don't.
I've got one more question. Yeah. I've got one more question. I'll let these guys go.
Sorry. One more thing.
No.
On the deferrals, everybody gets this wrong, talking about like Ohtani and stuff. I have a copy of the CBA on my computer. If you ever listen to the show or read my stuff, that's not surprising. The deferred money, you have to put it into an account by the second season after they played and earned it. So, like, the Dodgers aren't just paying Shohei $2 million a year and just pushing $68 million to the future. All of the 2024 Shohei $68 million, the present value of that has to go into an account by next summer. And then the 25 money has to go in an account by 27. So you can still account for all of that money in your payroll. It's just, like, you don't get to just push that off and, like, sell the team and somebody else has to handle that, right? Like, you have to fund all that money within the second season that they played and earned it. The thing everybody gets wrong on the Shohei thing, and I'm like, they're still paying the money. They're just not having to give it to him right away. They give it to him in a decade. Sorry, go ahead.
They're also really not having to pay that money because the people in Japan and the TV deals,
The
and all
marketing
that
money.
stuff
The
over
marketing
there,
money.
that is what's paying Shohei Ohtani's
He's
contract.
unique.
Yeah.
He's really unique, and it's really, like, it doesn't do any good to try to put in a rule to stop his situation from happening because there's no other player in baseball, and there probably will not ever be, that has the marketing power that he does, where they can, in essence, make the team their entire salary back in endorsements and sponsorships and all that. Nobody else is doing that. Trout never did that. Harper never did that. Vlad, Tatis, nobody did that but Shohei. Sorry.
I've got one more question for you. I'll let these guys go, and then we've got a couple fan questions, and we want to be conservative of your time, but it's been terrible. It's been pretty brutal the past 2 years now.
I thought I was good. I thought I've been doing
No.
man.
I'm at the team. I'm at the team.
It's almost like you were asking me how to pronounce my name on the show. Jeez.
Yeah. The team has been terrible the past 2 years. What is something, a couple of the highlights that you have really liked covering? You know, like one thing this year that I've really loved watching and following along was obviously Drake Baldwin. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm sure there's also some kind of inside stuff too that you guys get to do and cover as well. Just talk to me about that this year, about what was kind of some of the highlights this year.
This sounds kind of dumb, but like going to spring training and talking to these guys about like what they did over the winter and what they were working on, and then seeing that stuff work in the regular season. Like, that's really cool. Talking to Grant Holmes and him talking about what he did over the winter to be ready to handle the workload.
Talk to us.
Yeah, talk to y'all. Yeah, like what, you know, what he's trying to do, what his goals are for the year and all of that. And then seeing him go out and do them. Like, that's, like, I think the thing that a lot of people forget and is like, these are still human beings. Like, these are still people, and nobody's madder about them not doing well or struggling than they are. Nobody's madder about the team losing than they are. And sometimes keeping that perspective is really nice. Like, when you can just, like, when you can remember that, like, hey, they're people. And, like, they're human beings. I remember talking to Charlie Morton in spring training of 24 down in Northport. And I just came away like, he is the most thoughtful dude you've ever talked to. He can explain everything that he did and why he did it, but at the same time, he's questioning, was it the right thing to do? Was it not? He still doesn't feel like he knows who he is as a pitcher, because every organization's asked him to do something different. And just being open and talking about that. Like, when the guys talk about non-baseball things, that's a good reminder that, like, yeah, like, I might be mad when Bryce Elder gives up a home run on a slider that he hangs, but, like, I have to remember that nobody's madder about that home run than Bryce Elder is. And that's been a nice part for me, is learning more about these guys behind the scenes. Also, Luis Guillorme told me I had a nice beard, which was nice, because he had a really good beard. So him telling me that made me feel good. But just, like, seeing all the little things, like, the guys doing during batting practice, right? Michael Harris has the custom bats. They're playing games with each other while they're batting. I remember being in Northport and watching infield drills. Matt Olson's a quiet guy. He's one of those quiet leaders, right? I have never heard more foul language out of anybody's mouth than Matt Olson doing infield drills. And he got them all. He made all the plays. But he was just talking trash to himself. I don't know if it was just that day.
Yeah, get Matt Olson on the show now. He fit right in. He fit right in.
Like, it was just funny. And, like, it was probably one of those things, there was, like, 3 of us out there. Like, it was me, Bowman, and Toscano, and that's it. You were sitting in the dugout talking to Snit. And, like, I don't think they knew we were even out there, because we were all in the dugout. And just little things like that, like when they don't know anybody's watching, and they're just being themselves, and themselves happens to be a more outgoing version of what you see publicly, that stuff's kind of cool to me. Like, I just enjoy those things like that. Hearing the guys cut up and joke around, and then seeing the guys fix problems, right? Like, a guy's struggling and he figures it out. Chris Sale, his whole struggles earlier this year, Spencer Schwellenbach figured that out. Like, not Chris Sale. Chris Sale didn't know what was going on. Schwellenbach had a tablet in the bullpen. Grant Holmes was helping him. And they figured out what was wrong with Chris Sale and his arm angle and why he was dropping his arm and how to fix it. Like, and the reason they looked at that is because Marcell Ozuna told them he noticed, like, he's like, hey, like, as a hitter, he's like, I saw this. And he told Sale and he told them, and they grabbed a tablet, they went to Sale's bullpen and they figured it out. One,
That is
indictment on the coaching staff for
crazy.
not figuring that out themselves. But two, like, it's just super cool seeing, like, the guys doing all the stuff and, like, fixing their problem. And Sale's like, credit to them. He's like, I didn't know what was going on. They figured it out. And, like, things like that are cool to me. Like, the inside baseball stuff. I always love that kind of stuff.
That is crazy. So a DH, a basically rookie, and a guy who was drafted in the first round 10 years ago and never made his major league debut until he was 29 years old.
Till last year.
Figured out what was going on with a borderline Hall of Famer. And
I'm willing to
wild.
bet you that people in the front office also knew. So like the Michael Harris thing, right? Some of those adjustments that we talked about earlier. Tim Hires was telling him to do that stuff in like spring training.
Yes.
And he just didn't do it until Chipper Jones kind of before that St. Louis series had a conversation with him, and the advice that Chipper gave him was the same advice that Tim Hires had given him, but from a different messenger, it stuck, right? Like, I'm willing to bet you, I've met some of the Braves front office, like, they're incredibly smart. I guarantee you the Braves, like, I figured out the arm angle thing. Like, I wrote an article about his arm angle. Yeah. So I guarantee you they did, but seeing the guys actually, like, grab a tablet and go to the bullpen with Sale and figure it out and help him fix it, that's the cool part to me, because that reminds me of, like, covering college ball and stuff like that, where it's just, like, a bunch of dudes just throwing balls around and, like, seeing what works and figuring stuff out on their own. Like, that was super cool to me.
And that makes a lot of sense, too.
Brian?
Like, we look at that stuff. Sorry, Jeb. I'll shut up in a second. But
Start raising
I
your
just think
hands, guys. Jeez.
yeah, I think it's really cool though. I mean, because you're right. It's not always the message that's wrong. It could be the messenger.
Yeah.
That is not necessarily wrong, but just like, for instance, you cover the Braves and you write for a living and you do your podcast. You probably, and this goes for all of us, but you just in particular, you would probably take advice from Mark Bowman, who's been doing it, 20, 30 years, or David O'Brien, who's been doing it for 30 years, even if the person who has only done it for a couple months has been telling you the same exact thing. I don't know. It's just kind of, it's weird how that stuff works, and I feel like a lot of it has to do with
the
pride.
source
Yeah.
and the way it's delivered matters.
That part.
Yeah, and that's why like so many like former players, catchers make good managers, and you see a lot of like there's those guys that just they bridge different groups, they bridge age groups, but one of the main functions of your coaching staff, honestly, is to take the information the front office is creating and find a way to deliver that to the players in a way that sticks. And that's what Walt Weiss talked about. Like part of the reason I wrote he won the press conference was because Walt Weiss talked about he wants as much information as they can give him, and his job is to figure out what is most relevant to each guy and find a way to deliver it in a way the guy is going to actually be able to act on it. And that is the hard part of coaching, not knowing what to do. It's getting the guy to understand this is why you should do this, and this is how you do it. Sorry. I keep interrupting like it's Ben trying to talk over Jeb. Sorry.
Man, I can't remember what the article was. I think it was Bowman posted one, but it was about the Michael Harris and Tim Hires. Like, Tim Hires tried to get him to make those adjustments early on, and I think I remember in there where Michael was just kind of... I don't think this is Michael's personality. I think he was just tired of not hitting and was tired of the questions, but he basically just said, no, I don't think any of those are the issues. I just got to start hitting the baseball pretty much.
Yeah.
I guess my question is do you know how, which you may not, do you know how Tim was trying to approach Michael about it, or no? Okay.
Not a clue. A lot of... So, like, they have BP on the field, but just inside the tunnel on the way to the clubhouse, they have cages inside. And so a lot of the hitting and a lot of the instruction doesn't happen at BP. It happens in the cages. Yeah, and we don't... even if you have clubhouse access, you typically don't have access to the hitting cages because those aren't in the clubhouse, but they're not in the dugout. They're kind of in the middle there.
Gotcha.
Now, during spring training, you can walk right up, and the hitting facility, like, you can walk right up to the fence, and you can listen and watch them hitting indoors. You can watch all that stuff. You can sit there, like, in Northport, we have the access to look and watch all of that. But in Atlanta, we don't really have that. And a lot of that work happens before the media is even there anyway, right? Like, the media gate for 7 o'clock first pitch, I want to say the media gate opens at, like, 3. And a lot of that stuff's happening, like early in the day. It might be happening at 3 o'clock, but, like, you're just walking in the gates. And you haven't gotten to the press box and all that yet, or the overflow press box out in left field. And they're already, like, doing all their stuff. So I have no clue as to how he was trying to do that. Was it a chat on the plane? Was it in the cage? No clue on that.
I just wish I
Couldn't tell
understood
you.
it's more their thought process of when they go to video and when they really feel like something's wrong. I think it's just that, like, Michael's so young and he just hasn't had much failure in his career. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
Is he didn't know when to actually go and dig in and actually make adjustments because he just hasn't had to do it a whole lot in his life. But that was my question. I was just curious on that.
Yeah, no insight I can actually give on that one. And that's kind of how, like, a lot of the stuff, we don't even find out that it was done until, say, player talks about it. And so, like,
Right.
typically, like, that's why clubhouse access is so important. Because a lot of that stuff, it doesn't happen in the press conference room. It happens the hour you're in the clubhouse before it was Snit, now it'll be Weiss, talks to the media in the press conference room. Like, a lot of that just happens in the clubhouse, chatting with guys, and just, hey, you had a great game last night. Yeah, Hires was giving me some tips the other day, and, I did this and this, and it worked. Like, that's where you get that stuff from. And that's why clubhouse access is so important. That's why it's so hard to cover games on the road for people.
Ben?
Talk about the big league club a lot. Give me a couple minor leaguers that you're super excited about going into 2026.
Great question.
Great question. So I have to, I guess, start this by explaining that I got my start covering baseball while Blake Burkhalter was at Auburn. So, like, I knew him at Auburn. I knew his family. I still talk to one of his cousins and stuff like now. So I've always been really high on him and his potential as, like, what he could do. Being announced as a starter was a surprise, but I'm hopeful that he makes it through the Rule 5 draft. We'll find out later this week. Outside of that, it's funny because I like to think of myself as an amateur pitching nerd, but a lot of the guys I'm really hopeful about are some position players. Like, I know everybody's talked about John Gill. Mm-hmm. Just the combination, I know he's been at a really low level, but the combination of speed, exit velocities, the defense. Everybody talks about, like, Alex Lodis from Florida State is probably the next shortstop in Atlanta. It is entirely possible that John Gill has one of those rapid just years where he shoots through. He finished the year in Double-A last year. I don't think he's ever going to be above average, like, game power, but he should clearly and easily stick at shortstop. He has the potential to be at least an average bat, and that would give you an offense and defense combination at shortstop we have not had since the late years of Dansby, because he was not that when you got him.
No.
And so, like Gil had a 12% walk rate last year between high A and Double A, and it was
As
a
a
very small sample
19-year-old.
size in Double A. As a 19-year-old.
Crazy.
I think he had like 25 plate appearances in Double A, so it's really just an A ball. But, like, he had a 12% walk rate. Now, some of that in the minors is because those pitchers can't throw strikes. The question is, how does that survive as you move up? But, like, he stole 50-something bags. He walked 12% of the time, and then he played a pretty good shortstop. There's little minor nuances that he's still learning. Like, he still tries to backhand too many things when he probably shouldn't backhand stuff. But for the most part, like, I think he's got all the makings to be a multi-year starter at shortstop in the majors. The question is, how long does it take him? A couple places have ETAs of like 28 and 29. I think it could be as early as 27. I don't think it's this year, but maybe when he hits 20, he just starts taking off. Who knows? So I'm hopeful about John Gill. I do think that Cody Miller, the third rounder we took this year, is a little underrated for what he can do. He had a pretty good debut, and then on that same note, Dixon Williams, the fourth rounder, who's a true second baseman there. But I think both of those guys are a little underrated, and people assume they were just money savings. I think they're legitimately impressive middle infielders. I really do think Cody could play a couple different positions. He could be. I've been dreaming for like a shortstop, center field, ultimate defensive utility guy in the mold of like a Ceddanne Rafaela, who, by the way,
Wouldn't that be South of Scene though? From what I've heard,
but South of Scene's just so far away that like
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think about that anytime soon because he's just turned 19 years old. Miller's already 21, coming off of college. That's why I kind of thought about that. By the way, though, Ceddanne Rafaela from Curacao, so the Braves need to trade for him just so we can get the Curacao Infinity Stones, sign Kenley Jansen again, and just have all the Curacao players in the league be here. That would be nice. But those two guys, when you look at pitchers, I guess I'll go back to pitchers real quick because that's the kind of guy that I am. Herrick Hernandez struggled last year, but I still think he is like the Spencer Strider starter kit. The fastball slider, the high vert fastball. There's a lot to like. The question's going to be, can he figure it out and move through the system? Struggled last year. I like a lot of these starting pitcher prospects. Like I think that the Braves have done a good job of getting guys with ceiling. I asked AA on Sunday. I was like, why don't we use more of these guys in the pen in the major league level? Like, see if they can get outs at the major league level. And he said he personally loves to do that. He thinks it's a great idea. They did it with Smith-Shawver. That was AA's idea. Strider, Fried.
Yep.
Fried always said it was really helpful for him doing that. But a lot of it's come down to roster construction recently. They haven't had a lot of optionable relievers. And they've had a lot of like guys who are kind of locked in back there. And it's really tough to build your 13 pitchers with a starting pitcher prospect in the pen and get him more than like 2 or 3 innings a week. And they would rather use that guy for 2 starts in a minor league week versus letting him pitch 2-3 relief innings in a major league week just to get him better. So that's kind of the answer there, but I really do think it's impressive. Yeah.
I think J.R. Ritchie would be a perfect candidate for that to open up the year. But to start in the bullpen in the major leagues. But I can understand why they
have
would.
So many other multi-inning relievers already between Wentz and Elder and Suarez.
Yeah, Big Texas is going to be in the bullpen.
Unless he's traded this winter. We'll see.
I'd rather chew off my own hand than watch.
Elder has value. I mean, he pitched 100 and he led the team in innings and starts last year. And with a little more consistency, and I'm going to argue with a third fastball option and a cutter, and if you know me, you're not shocked by that. A little bit more consistency and avoiding those blow-ups, and he becomes a set it and forget it fifth starter, take the ball every 5th day. He's never gone on the IL. Like, there's value in guys like that. Can Hefner just make him a little bit more consistent? That's what I want to see.
I like your cutter idea. I think that helps him out a lot, especially when you can tunnel that with the sinker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like there's things to like with it. It's just go ahead. Sorry.
I told Jeb this the other day, and I'm sure he's a great guy. All right, I'm sure Bryce Elder is a phenomenal human being.
Oh gosh.
Big Texas baby.
Oh my god.
Big Texas, man. Come on.
Among starting pitchers with at least 50 starts since 1969 for the Braves, all right, Bryce Elder has the highest ERA out of any of them. And there's been quite a few pitchers that have made at least 50 starts for the Braves
Colorado
since
Rockies?
1969.
Why are we just talking about ERA? That's not. It's not how we do.
I mean, that's fair.
It's
That's
2025.
Fair. Okay.
Oh, Ben,
We're not
you're
judging guys on the
silent.
ERA.
I understand,
Ben, your stuff's
but
not
you
coming
have
through,
to
bud.
you have to limit runs
Right,
Oh my
at some
gosh.
point.
Talking
And-
about Colorado Rockies, that's where his Wi-Fi is.
I think
All
I'd
I'm
rather have
saying
50
is-
Bryce Elder starts than Benjamin coming up on the mound for the Braves.
That's fine. I'm a washed up former college pitcher. Nobody would want me on the major league mound.
Oh my God, Ben, you've got to fix that damn Wi-Fi.
Chat, I just want y'all at this moment in time on a podcast to come on to the YouTube one because Ben is very animated at this moment in time and it is entertaining to
But like we can't hear anything he's saying. I am going to point out that in the final 2 months of the year, yes, Bryce Elder had I'll argue 3 blow-up outings in his 11 starts. But in all of the rest, they were all quality starts. Like, he is literally all or nothing. It was 8 quality starts, and then he gave up 5 runs in 6 innings to Miami. He gave up 8 runs in 4 2/3 to Chicago, and 6 runs in 4 1/3 to Houston. It was 8 quality starts and 3 blow-ups.
And I just want to point this out.
A broke clock is
Listen,
right
I
place.
defended Bryce Elder on this podcast this year.
No,
did.
no, I defended him.
Listen, I was not Benjamin telling him to go fucking pound sand, okay? I was a very big Texas advocate, all right? If we had any fucking offense worth of shit, 5 runs did nothing on a number 5 starter for most teams. That's all I'm going to say.
Here is his earned runs allowed in his last 11 starts. 2, 5, blow up. 2, 8, 2, 1, 0, 1, 6, 1, 3. He had 4 losses in that stretch.
That's what you get for your number 5.
Whoa,
Yeah.
now.
He had
Hold
a
on.
loss
Y'all
where he
getting
gave
on
up
to me
2
for
runs
ERA?
in 6 2/3. He had a loss where he gave up 3 runs in 7 innings, and you lost 4-3 to Washington.
Tough.
And then he gave up 1 run in 7 innings, and you lost 2-1 in Philly to Philly.
Fuck Philly.
Like,
Listen, you're getting on to me.
he
for
should have
using
had a
ERA,
better
but
win-loss
We're
record.
talking
Not
about
that win-loss
win-loss
matters for
records,
pitchers.
all right?
He should have had a better win-loss record than that. Ben is still going, guys.
He's still going.
His finger is at
Can't
the
see
screen, and
nothing.
he is still going, and we hear nothing.
So, can we? Does this mean that we're gonna get a Big Texas coined in a future article, maybe?
Yeah, listen. I like using guys' nicknames. I'll use Big Texas. That's fine.
Yes.
So,
That's all I ask.
I'll use
so
Big Texas.
he knows. He knows about it.
He giggled about it. He did giggle about it.
He knows his nickname's Big Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baseball Reference has guys' nicknames.
Well, we coined his nickname. We didn't.
It's going semi-viral around Twitter.
It has gone a little
Bryce Elder
viral.
uses a thing now.
Yeah.
I've seen Big Texas somewhere else too. Like, I'm pretty sure we're not the only one. Y'all are not the only ones to use it before. Like, I think they picked it up from you guys. So clearly,
Yeah,
it was y'all, but-
we definitely coined it.
Definitely coined it. It was on a podcast live when Jeb was looking at his all-star red carpet picture.
Oh,
My favorite
man.
article I ever wrote for SI was I did a review of all of their all-star red carpet fits that year when Ronald had the pink outfit on, and I'd reached out to the designer that made that pink outfit and got quotes from him on it, and I wrote a whole article, and people were so pissed. They were like, "Why is this in Braves coverage?" I'm like, "Because it was fun. Nothing else to talk about. It's All-Star game. Come on, it's the red
Man, like, y'all
carpet."
gonna hate on an outfit.
It was fun. It was fun to write. I enjoyed it, and
Oh,
I got to
yeah.
talk to a fashion designer. Come on, it was great.
I got 2 questions. I just
Okay.
wanted to point that out there. Jeb, if you want to talk, go ahead. I was just pointing out.
No. By all means, go ahead.
All right. So we were talking about AA's draft. Were you as excited as we all were for him to finally take some position players?
Let's clarify. Ronit Shaw is the one that cooked here. Ronit Shaw runs the draft for the Braves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. Great guy, by the way. Super nice. We talk to him every draft. Super nice guy. Can explain everything. He knows every player who's ever played baseball. It's nuts. No. I was really happy with the fact that not only did they take position players, but they took shortstops.
Yes.
Because it gives you so much versatility down the road. I hate teams that draft first baseman. Like, you just almost never do it. unless they're elite
Nick
at
Kurtz.
scooping. Shout out Pete Alonso. Because there's nowhere to put them if they don't work out. And all of these guys we talked about can kick to second. Some of them can go to third. We're talking about South Lassine maybe in center field.
Yep.
You just have so many options with these guys by taking athletic up the middle defenders. I even thought that some of their senior signs, they did a really good job of yes, they're senior signs. They're very unlikely to make the majors, but you can see a path. There's a thing that they do well. And if they can improve some of the other stuff and lean on that skill, you could see how they could be major leaguers. It felt like the Braves, outside of maybe being surprised by somebody's bonus amount and kind of running out of money, outside of that, it feels like they had one of the more well-rounded drafts they've had in a long time. And I think that was something that I need to update this for 25. But from 2019 through 24, 19 through 24. The Braves not only paid more money to pitchers in signing bonuses in the draft, they were the only team to commit more than 60% of their draft pool to pitching prospects. Most teams take more pitchers than hitters, but most teams pay position players over pitchers. The Braves not only were one of, I think, 5 teams I had in that stretch that were over 50%, Atlanta was over 60%. So this draft they did a really good job of leaning into the strengths of the board that were there, and they had a plan, taking South Lassine, underslotting him, still getting the high ceiling prep that they wanted, but just doing a good job of meeting the board where it was versus trying to force college pitching even if it wasn't there where they picked. And the live show I did on Sunday night after day one, I threw out 4 or 5 names I wanted Atlanta to draft, and they took at least 2 of those guys. So I'm very grateful to Renette Shaw for making me look like a freaking genius. I sent him a DM and told him that. Thank you. Appreciate you, buddy. I don't think he watched.
All right, last one. How disappointed are you about Murphy not getting in?
Yes. We haven't even talked about it yet.
We hadn't talked about it yet. In a vacuum, there's the logical side of me says Dale Murphy's had 15 or 16 chances to be elected and never was, which is tough. That totally sucks. The logical side of me says, okay, it's clear by now they don't think he's a Hall of Famer. The other side of me says, if Harold Baines is a Hall of Famer, and then Dale Murphy should be one. And when you look at what he's done in his career, Dale Murphy leads all of baseball in total bases for the 1980s. He was, what was he, 9th? I had it in an article on Friday. He's either 9th or 10th, maybe 11th, in WAR among position players in that decade. Everybody in the top 15 is a Hall of Famer, but Dale Murphy. His peak was arguably higher in the 80s than anybody else's. I mean, two back-to-back MVPs, all the Gold Gloves, the Silver Slugger, the All-Stars, and he was a catcher. Yep. He went from catcher to center field. It's him, Dalton Varsho, end of list. And the fact that he not only can't get in, but he doesn't get the bump for being a good guy, like all of the bad guys get punished for being just assholes. He doesn't get the bump for being one of the best players off the field in baseball. Roberto Clemente Award winner, super nice guy, goes on podcasts, does tons of charity work. Pisses me off. Yeah. If Dale Murphy's not a Hall of Famer, what are we doing here? And the fact that he gets punished for not having the longevity makes me really worried also about Andrew Jones eventually getting in, even though part of the argument behind Andrew Jones not having not having the longevity, is because he debuted less than 120 days after he turned 19, and he played 225 games before his 21st birthday. If his career was ages 21 to 32, Andrew Jones would have already been in the Hall of Fame. But everybody looks at he fell off after 30. He debuted 3 months after turning 19. He debuted by hitting a home run in the World Series. Like, just the peak is there, the longevity's not. And my hope is that as we get younger with the voting pool, and you get more and more guys who are not getting the longevity in the numbers, that they start to reevaluate guys like Dale Murphy and hopefully Andrew Jones.
I always look at, can you tell like that section of baseball without him? I think you can tell, like Harold Baines. I have no idea when he played. I think it was in the 90s, 2000s. You can tell the story of baseball without Harold Baines. I'm sorry. In the 1980s, you literally cannot tell the story of baseball without Dale Murphy. He had his fingerprints all over in that decade. Back-to-back MVPs, Gold Gloves in center field. Led the Braves to a postseason appearance in the 80s, and they didn't ever do that.
Harold Baines played more games at DH than the outfield.
Yep.
He had more starts as a DH than he had at a defensive position.
What's Dale Murphy's career WAR? Is it above Harold Baines'?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
So he passed the Baines meter.
Oh yeah, by a long time. Oh yeah. You got
Pretty
Ben
sure he
over
did
here
that.
going, oh yeah, on like mute. Yeah.
Ben's making a really great point right now. I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but he's making a great point. He's animated about it.
He's
Dale
the interpreter.
46.5 B WAR. Harold Baines is at 38 and change.
Point.
And Harold Baines had 650 more games than
I
Dale
want
Murphy.
to know who voted on him being. And look, great for Harold Baines being in the Hall of Fame, but if that's like a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. 6 All-Stars, 1 Silver Slugger for Baines. Murphy had 7 All-Stars, 4 Silver Sluggers, 5 Gold Gloves, and 2 back-to-back MVP awards. He had more home runs than Harold Baines, despite playing way less games. He had... I used WAR. I did use WAR. But, like, okay, the OPS plus, they tied at 121 for OPS plus.
But that's all he did, was hit. Talking about Baines. Like,
289
he
average,
should be
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Like, Dale Murphy was playing...
And even
center
then, his
field.
OPS was 5 points better than Murphy's. That's it, just 5 points better. Because Murphy had the edge in slugging and
Look how many
everything
runs
else.
he saved defensively, though, out in center field, man.
Versus, listen, you're underrating the defensive contributions of corner, outfield, and DH Harold Baines.
You mean the minus contributions? I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, listen, I'm sure just like Pete Alonso, he was a great scooper at DH. I'm sure he was.
Scooper.
He's a great scooper. Conveniently, the one thing he's great at is the thing we can't measure, scooping.
Crazy.
What are the odds?
Colored me shot. What is baseball? I swear you shoot yourself in the foot day in and day out some days, man.
All right, we can move into a couple fan questions real quick. Of the trades of the AA era, this is coming from Kathy. Which one would you take? Yes, absolutely. We love Kathy. Which would you take back if you could, and why? With that in mind, who is untouchable, prospects or roster, to get pieces needed for 26?
Okay, so trades of the Atlanta era, the AA era?
AA. The AA era.
Okay, the AA era. AA trades that are that I'd take back. Ooh. He hasn't missed a ton, honestly.
There's one.
Everybody's going to say William Contreras. And the flip side of that, I'm going to get there. Flip side of that is there were Braves pitchers who would not throw to William Contreras.
Yeah.
Go back to that MVP or to that All-Star season. There's a prominent Brave starting pitcher who did not make a single start throwing to William Contreras. He's no longer here, so it's fine. It's Max Fried.
Max Fried.
Max Fried.
I'm gonna call you out, Max.
But like,
Fucking
listen.
bitch going to New York.
Listen. This is really dumb. The Caleb Durbin trade. Nobody talks about this. You traded Caleb Durbin for Lucas Letge. And Letge gave you, I think it was like 5 innings. Or what was it? No, sorry. It was 13 and 2/3 innings with a 7.24 ERA, and he immediately retired afterwards.
Yeah,
And you traded away a major league shortstop. Now, in their defense, Caleb Durbin was a 14th round pick. You were not expecting him to make the league. But, like, you traded away what ended up being an MLB shortstop. Not a great one, but an MLB shortstop that would have helped you this year. He still put up almost 3 WAR. Hit 256. A 101 OPS plus. You traded him for not only a reliever, but a reliever who was ass in Lucas Ledke, who immediately when he was done retired. So that's the big trade I'd take back, which is not a big trade at all. But I'm sure there's other ones. I'm sure you had one. You said there's one other.
There's one big one.
And I feel like I must be forgetting this.
Jared Kelenic.
No, here's the thing. We didn't do the legwork to know that Jared Kelenic was a dumbass. Like, I wrote a big thing.
Fucking cooler and broke his foot, though.
A lot of guys do that. Listen, I did a podcast on this when he was done, telling the stories out of Gwinnett about how much of just a dumb little idiot he was. How he thought he was better than being in AAA and all of that stuff.
Son, you weren't. No, not at all.
But here's the thing. Like, the process was sound. And I'm going to do the thing of, I have this thing I talk about over on Braves Today. You can only judge a decision by the information you have when you made it.
That's fair.
And when you made the trade, you could see the case to make the trade. We'll take on this dead money
100%.
to get a former top prospect who needs a change of scenery. It made sense at the time. We just didn't know that he was a spoiled brat that didn't want to apply himself and wasn't going to be very good. Like, that's all. But the process made sense. So I'm going to push back on that a little bit.
I'll have to
He was supposed to come here and bat like
stories.
8th.
So a scale of 1 to 10, was it really that bad in AAA when he went down?
I mean, he was awful playing wise, if that's what we're trying to establish.
Personality.
Oh, personality. They did not like him in that clubhouse. I mean, he'd skip like batting. He'd show up to the field late. Like, they'd have to submit the lineup and not know if he's going to be there or not to put him in the lineup. Like, there's days when you're like, why do you have a day off? He probably wasn't there on time, and they had to submit a lineup. He would do little dumb stuff, like he'd big time the coach on the the bus driver. They're all getting on the bus, just like Jesse Chavez, nicest dude. He's chatting with the bus driver. Hey, how you doing? You know, did you get something to eat? We all ate. Did you get something to eat? Kelenic would just like big time the guy, like just dumb stuff like that. Not like refusing to sign for kids. He wanted to be exempted from the season ticket holder luncheon, and he's like, well, you guys didn't make Craig Kimbrell do it. And it's like, well, 1, he's a future Hall of Famer. 2, he's been here like 3 days. But like, Kelenic wanted to skip it. He didn't let the team pass out like the Gwinnett trading card, like the baseball card set with him in there. He didn't let them put him in there because he's not a minor leaguer. He's a major leaguer, right?
You're not, son.
Just like all kind of little. I had tons of more stories. Just little dumb stuff like that. Skipping practice. Not showing up for for workouts, being late to the field, not running out. Like J.R. Ritchie took a loss because Jared Kelenic loafed on multiple fly balls to the outfield in the same game. Like Ritchie had the start of his life, and they lost the game because Kelenic was just half-assing it in the outfield.
So why didn't they just cut him?
Money.
Just wait till the end of the season. He's going to be a free agent anyway. Who cares? When he got hurt, I want to say he broke a finger sliding into a bag. They just sent him home. They just told him he could go ahead and go. He could pack his stuff and go. Didn't make him stay. Didn't make him rehab it. You can go ahead and go. And he packed his stuff up and left early. Just didn't want to be there. He didn't want to be there. He thought he was better than being in AAA, and so he left. And I don't think it's coincidence that, so far we've seen a bunch of dudes sign minor league deals. Nobody signed Jared Kelenic yet. I'm sure somebody will. But, we had a bunch of guys through minor league deals. Nobody signed Jared Kelenic yet.
Honestly, man, if you hate fucking baseball that much, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
Number 6 overall pick, and just did not want to apply himself, did not want to do the work required to be successful, and did not want to put in the work to get back into the majors. Didn't think he should have been in AAA. By the way he acted, you could tell. That was he did not think he had to be in the minor leagues, or that he should have been.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
We had heard
loafing the fucking home run that wasn't
Yeah.
home run, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had heard a couple of the stories, but we didn't know it was that in depth of how bad it was.
His teammates did not like him in AAA, from what I've heard, what I've been told.
I can understand fully why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
There
I
have
get
been
it.
some rumbles in the clubhouse if I was there. There's no fucking doubt about that.
I get it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a beer league baseball ace on my team, and I know if my teammates did that, I would not be.
Would not be happy. Yep, I get it.
No.
Man, that's crazy, dude. Wow.
Should the Braves go after a guy like Gabriel Arias, or should they pivot to a outfield/DH after the Dubon acquisition and get a guy like Alec Burleson, Gurriel Jr., Garrett Mitchell, or even like a Duran or Seiya?
I like the idea. Why not both? Like, I am fully of the opinion, especially if you're not going to sign a starter, go get a shortstop and get an outfield bat. I'd rather have too many players than not enough, because depth will always work itself out. In the last 2 seasons, you've had to find an injury replacement for every single position on the field but first base. Every single one. So, like, go find a shortstop so Dubon can give you great defense anywhere, and then go find an outfield rotation bat, because odds are one of your 3 starting outfielders will miss some time.
Or infielders, at that matter.
Yeah, exactly. One of your infielders will miss some time. One of your outfielders will miss some time. Odds are it's going to happen. And even if they're all healthy, but somebody's bad, like a Michael Harris, Ozzie Albies, whatever it might be, you can plug that hole and still have depth. I'm of the opinion do both. I have to admit, I hadn't really thought a ton about Gabriel Arias. I know that I want to say offensively, he had a really good short debut in 22, and then since then he's been like underwhelming, like OPS plus in the 70s every season. But he can play anywhere in the infield. He can play outfield as well. I think he's played all 3 positions. He did that in 24, I want to say. I don't hate the idea. I don't think he's an upgrade over Dubon. And I think if you're gonna go and get a shortstop, get a shortstop. Get a Ha-Sung Kim. I'm willing to get irrational and pay $20 million a year for Ha-Sung Kim. You've got second base, third base flexibility. You'll need to plug second base in a couple seasons with Ozzie gone. Go pay $20 million for Ha-Sung Kim. Don't just get a patch job like an Arias that is just Dubon again. Right? Go get an actual shortstop. Get a bat too. Get a Ryan O'Hearn if you don't want to make a trade. Get a Byron Buxton if you want to make a trade. Just go get both. Especially if you're not signing the starter. Just go get both.
And then fill in the bullpen.
Yeah.
And then we're good to go.
Yeah.
Multiple relievers. You give me Ha-Sung Kim, you give me one outfielder who can play the corner outfield and DH, and you give me probably 2 relievers. I'm done. I'm good. Let's go. Let's ride to March. Let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
Love your line of thought.
I know we've kind of touched on this a little bit, but this is from Thomas. Middle infield prospects to be excited about. Middle infield prospects to be excited about. With Dubon and Ozzie with 1 year apiece, Ozzie 27 option. Any hope in the minors if either falters, injuries, or don't come back after 26?
I think it's the trio of Ledis, Gill, and Miller. I think you're hopeful that at least one of them, if not both, if not 2, can be up by 27. Ledis feels like he would be the quickest to come up. I trust his defense more than his offense, which is weird to say because at the draft time he was a better hitter than a defender. I think Gill is the highest ceiling, lowest floor. I think Cody Miller could be surprised. I think it's those 3. You're counting on 1 to 2 of those 3 making it up. I've heard good. I had a friend who went to the Arizona Fall League. I've heard good things about some of the adjustments that Jim Jarvis has made. He is not yet on the 40 full slate of options. He's 25 years old. He played shortstop in college at Alabama. Not going to hold that against him. I'm an Auburn guy. But some of the offensive changes he has made supposedly are really good. And so I am hopeful that he might be able to contribute more than we're expecting in 2026 if you have an injury and you need to fill in. You're not just stuck with either Brett Wisely or Vidal Brujan. You could have Jim Jarvis as well. So that's a short-term thing. I don't know where he'll play in Gwinnett. I think he did a lot of second base and some short after they got him. But I've heard good things about his ability to play anywhere in the infield. Not really a prospect, I guess. He technically is, but he's not like a rated prospect on lists. But I've heard good things.
This one comes from Ken. I'm sure you know Ken.
Yep.
How do you keep the beard so nice, man?
Listen, so I've had the beard now for a decade. I was doing No Shave November, and I kept it all through the winter. My daughter was born with a full head of red hair. My wife's like, you got to keep the beard now. It gets washed a couple times a week. I've got like balms and other oils and ointments and things. But it's really just that, and it's just eating right, man. Drink plenty of water. There you go. Drink plenty of water, eat right, take care of it, it'll take care of you.
Good deal. Last question we ask all our guests.
Okay.
Do you know what an escape room is, right?
Yes.
You have to pick one MLB player. Well, I guess Braves player. One Braves
okay.
player to do escape room with you. Who are you picking and why?
Ooh. The joke, not the real answer, the joke answer is I'm picking Spencer Strider, because if we can't figure it out, he'll just kick the door down with his giant quads. But I think I think the real answer is Spencer Schwellenbach.
Really?
Because you can tell by his debut year, when he added pitches like mid-season, he picks stuff up very quickly. And he's very analytical and like being able to think through stuff on his feet really quickly. And it feels like the kind of personality that would do well trying to get out of an escape room. So Schwellenbach. The joke answer is Strider because he just kicked the door down. But
see, I say Riley because of that answer.
I was Strider just because I'm like, you know what? If our two dumbasses can't get out of there, it's going to be pretty entertaining to talk to him.
Yeah.
Listen,
funnest pitcher to watch on the Braves by far, especially live, if y'all have not done it, is Schwellenbach. To see 98 cut cheese fastballs come across the home plate, even from the upper deck, it's very entertaining to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll give you that one. I'll also say when Chris Sale's locked in, watching the other team
Cry.
Not only be helpless, but know that they're helpless is really entertaining. Like, being able to see, just like looking into their dugout and just seeing them like miserable. They're having a bad day. And like they know it, and they know there's nothing they can do about it. That is pretty entertaining too.
Oh yeah. Lindsay, thank you. We really appreciate you taking the time and talking to us. I know we went over a little bit, but
a little bit, yeah.
We loved to talk ball. We loved having you on.
40, yeah.
Once again, tell everybody where they can find you.
Of course, I'm on social media at Crosby Baseball. You can find the newsletter, bravestoday.com. You can find the podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, and on YouTube at Braves Today. Newsletter's 5 days a week. Podcast is 5 days a week because I do nothing but think and watch baseball all the time. I was watching Dominican Winter League over the weekend.
We had somebody on talking about how when they got into sports betting, they were doing I think it was ping pong. They started betting on ping pong.
Oh my god, demon!
Oh gosh. Once again, thank you, Lindsay. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And yeah, absolutely. All right, big thanks to Lindsay Crosby for hopping on the pod with us. We said an hour, and we went almost an hour 40. Wow. I've never really interacted with him, but that was a very, very great conversation. Great guy to talk ball with too. I was I was very impressed.
Yeah, I mean, vast realm of baseball, right? It wasn't just, the typical signings. We got to get a little bit in depth behind the scenes. We got to talk hitting. We got to talk pitching. We got to talk prospects. We got to talk the draft. His all-star designer special that he was able to get with the suit from Ron.
Big Texas.
Yep. It was very, very entertaining. It was a very good podcast. Very good. I enjoyed it.
I also did not know about the Jared Kelnick stuff was on that level.
Yeah,
And now that he's gone, I'm sure he wanted to, kind of keep his name a little clean, but now that he's gone, what a spoiled fucking pipsqueak, dude.
Like, look, I know we got one of Jared Kelnick's buddies, right? We all kind of followed for a little bit, but like, brother, if that's how your boy was acting, you need to check that motherfucker. Like, straight up. You are not above any fucking level in this, and this is any cross the path of life, chat. You're not above anything in this world. That's just a life lesson that I have learned. I'm not above anybody. We're all on equal ground, So
We all put our pants on the same way.
yeah, we all bleed the same fucking color, man. Just keep that in perspective. And Jared didn't do that very well, and I pray that he figures that out, because he needs to get that shit checked, because it would have been, if I was in that fucking clubhouse, me and him were throwing fucking hands.
Yeah.
I'm throwing fucking hands with that motherfucker. You're not gonna, especially like if my pitcher's out there dog fighting for a AAA game and throwing the game of his life, and you're loafing 5-6 fly balls in the outfield. Me and you are gonna come to blows in the dugout. I'm not gonna pull your ass in the clubhouse. I'm gonna go to blows with you right then and there in the fucking dugout.
Yeah. And the, golly, what was the other? Like even the whole big league and the bus driver, like, dude,
That's crazy, man.
He didn't even hit above the. He didn't even hit above the Mendoza line in the big leagues. What makes you think?
You loafed a fucking ball that barely hit the damn brick wall out at the chop house. Granted, you went in and apologized, but bro, you ain't above shit. You couldn't hit your own fucking weight in the big leagues, and it's because you couldn't fucking keep your damn stance or any of the adjustments that you made with hires in the offseason and carried them in at all. You just did your own fucking thing. And that's exactly what it looked like on my fucking part. I just didn't come out and say it because I didn't have the proof. Got the proof now? You just did your own fucking thing.
I'm wondering if I should tweet out "fuck Jared Kelnick" from the from the pod account.
Jesus, man. Look, I hope Jared really, honestly, I hope you get some soul searching done and you figure your shit out. And honestly, baseball is clearly not your passion, brother. Because if it was, you would be putting in the hours it took to get back to the big leagues or be in the big leagues. But if it's not your passion, bro, you got your sign-on money, you got some 40-man roster money that's gonna last you a while. Go after your fucking passion, man.
Dude, he's 26.
Go after your passion, because it ain't
He's
baseball.
26.
What a
Dog.
waste of talent, bro. And kick it out. All
Wasted.
the talent in the world. What a waste of... Now, that something, chat, is nothing that you can fix. That right there, you can't fix that. He's got to want to fix that. Man.
I mean, like, what?
Man.
I mean, I know you did the deep dive in on it, but like, what all? I know he's a head case too. We obviously talked about that too. Like, what the fuck happened?
I don't know. I don't know Jared. I don't know his thought process, but I can tell you this: Jared quit. He just loafed the adjustments that him and Hires made. When he started having struggles, he's just like, "Fuck this! I'm going to do what I want." Like, that's what it appeared, because he was just going through so many stance changes, hand adjustments, like everything was off every other series. And I was just like, you know what? It's either he's really digging and trying to find something, or he's just doing whatever the hell it is that he wants. And then when you get to AAA, you're not working, you're not showing up to practice, you're fucking not even showing up to games half the time. You just did whatever the fuck it is that you wanted.
I wonder why they didn't like fine him. Like, if you
I'm
were
sure
to,
they did. I'm sure they find him.
If you were to fine a player, would that take it away? That would have been a great question to ask, actually. Would that take away from the CBT? I know he was getting paid like $1 million, but like, would that take away or?
Don't. You got to get fined. Maybe by MLB, but not by the team. God, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That was. I knew there were some stories out there about Jared. I didn't know.
I didn't either. That's fucking wild.
But that's yeah. It's crazy. I enjoy
anything
talking
else?
about the hitting with-
Anything else you want to go over? The Joe news. I didn't know if you want to touch on
told you
that.
I was just not gonna. I mean, 2 surgeries on Joe's knee. He's not gonna be ready. He might be active during spring training, right? He might be working out and stuff like that. He's not gonna be ready till mid-season at earliest. So you can't bank on that, and that's what I was trying to say. And another thing I was very happy about that I made well known is Grant made the right decision not to get Tommy John surgery because of the success rate with certain areas where that ligament's torn or partially torn. Grant made the right decision. And I am so happy that Grant's going to have a full, healthy offseason and can go back and pitch next year.
Yeah,
Get
me
your money,
too.
bro.
That's
Get your money.
that. Yeah. I mean, Grant Holmes. Shout out Grant Holmes is my dad. I mean, because Grant Holmes is all of our dads. That's a sex god right there.
I will also say the hitting talk about Michael Harris was very good too. The stats that he provided just kind of, in my opinion, just kind of solidified what I was saying about Michael for the last 6-7 months.
6'7".
Dumbest shit ever.
Fucking Christ. All right. I've got nothing else if you ain't got anything
I
else.
got nothing else, buddy.
All right. It's almost 10 o'clock on Monday, so I got to edit all this fucking shit. But you know why I do it? I do it for the fans.
You'll be all right, buddy.
Follow us on social media. We're pretty active on everything that we can be. Like, rate, subscribe, comment, share.
Go check out
Share.
the YouTube video to watch Benjamin really animated
Yes.
and not saying shit because it's
Yes.
funny as hell.
Yes, Ben absolutely shit the bed with his audio. I wonder if this will pop up on the YouTube with him just being frozen right now.
Dude, he's literally got the resting bitch face like this fucking piece of shit.
I wonder if he could still hear us.
I'm sure he would agree that that's exactly what's going on right now.
He's probably just screaming at his phone.
He probably messaged Lindsay like, bro, I'm sorry.
Like these
Santa, bring
dumbasses.
this motherfucker a laptop for Christmas, alright? He needs
Yes,
it.
and some fucking Wi-Fi. Good lord.
Well, he is in the middle of bumfuck Georgia now, so.
That is true. Not trying to
From
dox
there, I
him.
can say that.
Not trying to dox him or anything, but... Alright, I'm getting the fuck out of here. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace!
Landed right on the shoulder.
Hawk tour.
Let's do it again.